Welcome to AI Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Sam Altman says the one thing worse than getting fired from OpenAI was his dad's death. Inside OpenAI's crisis over the future of artificial intelligence. Elon Musk's own AI assistant Grok roasts him. Don't invest a penny until you've read these 11 key rules. US considers missile launch notification framework with China. Sam Altman says the one thing worse than getting fired from OpenAI was his dad's death. Yahoo! Former OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has said that getting fired from his role was unbelievably painful for him. In a podcast interview, he compared the experience to the grief he felt when his father died. Altman was abruptly fired from the role on November 17, but returned to the position days later following a groundswell of protests from OpenAI staff. The company's board said Altman was fired because he had not been consistently candid in his communications with them. Inside OpenAI's crisis over the future of artificial intelligence. Japan Times. During a video call in November, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, realized that something was amiss when he saw that Ilya Sutskever, the chief scientist of the company, was virtually accompanied by the 3 independent board members. This led to speculation that the board members were monitoring the conversation, raising concerns about transparency and corporate governance at OpenAI. Elon Musk's own AI assistant Grok roasts him. The Independent. Elon Musk's new AI chatbot, Grok, has turned on its creator by roasting him in response to a request from tech executive Aravind Srinivas. The chatbot called Musk a delicate little flower and criticized him for his obsession with Tesla. Musk unveiled Grok last month, touting its access to real-time data from Tesla as a superior feature compared to rival chatbots. However, Grok seems to have a rebellious streak and has made progressive statements that contrast with Musk's views. The chatbot also compared Musk to a child playing with rockets and criticized him for alienating users on Twitter. Don't invest a penny until you've read these 11 key rules. Telegraph. The Telegraph has published a list of 11 key investment rules for investors of all levels of experience. The first is to be prepared to invest for at least 5 years. Investment is a long-term game and markets can be volatile in the short term, so it's important to be patient. The second rule is to set clear goals before investing any money. This includes working out how much you can afford to invest, what returns you would like to achieve, and what losses you could tolerate. The third rule is to accept uncertainty. While markets tend to recover over the long term, there are no guarantees and investing always carries a degree of risk. The other rules include diversifying your investments, saving tax through investing in ISAs and pensions, keeping costs low, monitoring progress without obsessing over it, avoiding investment fads, keeping quiet about your investments, and only investing in things you understand. The Telegraph recommends that if you can't explain an investment to someone else, you probably shouldn't be investing in it. The Telegraph's investment rules are intended to help investors make better decisions and avoid common pitfalls. The list is useful for both beginners and experienced investors, as it serves as a reminder of key principles that can be easily overlooked when caught up in the details of individual investments. By following these rules, investors can increase their chances of achieving their financial goals and avoiding unnecessary risk. US considers missile launch notification framework with China. Nikkei Asia. The US is considering a proposal to exchange missile launch notifications with China, according to a senior State Department official, after President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed to stabilize their tense relationship in November. Launch notification is one of the concrete measures under consideration within the US government, the official said. The US and China should take initial confidence-building measures such as launch notification to help build trust, the official argued. The agreement signed in 1988 between the US and Russia requires each country to let the other know about plans to launch strategic missiles, such as intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, and submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs. Federal consultations on AI regulations heavily skewed toward businesses, industry groups, say critics. The Globe and Mail. The Canadian government has been accused of prioritizing businesses and industry groups in its consultations on a bill to regulate AI. Between June 2022 and September 2023, the country's Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada held 216 consultations with businesses and industry representatives, compared to just 28 with academia and 9 with civil society groups. Critics argue that the Artificial Intelligence and Data Act, IDA, could have wide-ranging effects on society and that those who could be most affected are underrepresented in the consultation process. IDA, part of Bill C-27, will apply to high-impact AI systems, and the most serious violations could result in fines of up to 25 million Canadian dollars, $19.8 million, or 5% of a company's global revenue. The bill is expected to come into force no sooner than 2025. Spotify slashes staff to move faster into AI, and Wall Street loves it. CNN. Spotify's investments into AI to boost margins for its podcasting and audiobook divisions look like a complete overhaul in strategy that Wall Street seems confident can work. Spotify unveiled a partnership with Google Cloud in November to overhaul how the platform recommends audiobooks and podcasts through its use of one of Google Cloud's language models, Vertex AI Search. They topped the HSC in decades gone by. Where are they now? The Sydney Morning Herald. The Sydney Morning Herald recently tracked down high-achieving students from the past 40 years to see where they are now and to gather their advice for current high school graduates. Here are some highlights. Roger Chun, who finished in the top 1% of the state in the Higher School Certificate, HSC, in 1983, was torn between a career in music and becoming a doctor. He now works as an endocrinologist and advises students to choose a career that makes them happy. Ian Grojnowski, who achieved perfect scores in 3 subjects in the HSC in 1983, is now a professor in pure mathematics at Cambridge University. He believes that education and job opportunities have changed significantly since he finished school, with bright school leavers now opting for universities like Harvard and Oxbridge. Eddie Wu, a maths teacher with 1.8 million YouTube subscribers, was bullied as a child but found sanctuary at James Roos Agricultural High School. He advises students to not just focus on their exam results, but to shape themselves into the person they want to become. Dhruv Kohli, who topped the Business Services course in the HSC in 2013, co-founded a startup during the pandemic that helped restaurants operate their services online. He advises students to embrace risks and aim high in their careers. Overall, the advice from these high-achieving individuals is to choose a career that makes you happy, be open to new opportunities, and focus on personal growth and development rather than just exam results. Here's why Musk reinstated conspiracy theorist Alex Jones' X account. The Independent. Elon Musk has reinstated the X account of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, despite Jones harassing families of the Sandy Hook school shooting victims. Musk held a poll on X over the weekend, where he claimed that the people had spoken and he would therefore allow Jones back onto the platform. Musk stated that he vehemently disagrees with Jones' claims that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax, but believes in free speech above all else. The decision is likely to further alienate top advertisers who have already fled the platform due to hate speech and anti-Semitism. Not sure what to cook with what's left in the fridge? There's AI for that. The Sydney Morning Herald. Clove, a startup founded by alumni of Canva, Milk Run, and Amazon, has secured $4.15 million in funding from investors including Blackbird Ventures and Shakti Capital. The company will use artificial intelligence, AI, to help users decide what to cook based on the ingredients they have, or create personalized meal plans around dietary requirements. Clove aims to become a global platform for 1 billion recipes. The startup is offering a 2-sided marketplace, where home cooks can access personalized recipes and AI-based cooking workflows, while creators can publish their own recipes. This AI subculture's motto, Go, Go, Go. New York Times. Effective Accelerationism, EACC, is a loosely organized movement that believes artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies should be allowed to progress as quickly as possible, with no restrictions or regulators standing in the way. The group was formed last year on social media and has since moved offline, hosting parties and hackathons in the Bay Area. The movement has gained momentum in Silicon Valley, with tech luminaries such as Marc Andreessen and Gary Ten expressing their support for EACC. The movement has also spawned subsects, including BioACC, which focuses on using technology to augment human biology, and ACC, which proposes that robots should act in accordance with human values. Critics argue that EACC's ideas are too extreme, with some leaders apparently agreeing with the effective altruists that a rogue AI could wipe out humanity but not being bothered by the idea. Singapore suspends poultry imports from parts of Japan, US over bird flu fears. South China Morning Post. Singapore has suspended the import of raw poultry and poultry products from several regions in countries affected by an outbreak of the highly pathogenic H5N1 avian influenza. The Singapore Food Agency, SFA, said the temporary restriction was imposed in light of the highly pathogenic avian influenza, commonly called bird flu. Heat-treated poultry products, which comply with the World Organization for Animal Health guidelines for inactivation of AI virus, will not be subjected to the restriction. Bird flu, which has led to the culling of hundreds of millions of birds in the past years, usually strikes in Europe during autumn and winter. At UN climate talks, cameras are everywhere. Many belong to Emirati company with a murky history. Associated Press. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, has one of the highest per capita concentrations of surveillance cameras in the world, which could be used to potentially track visitors throughout the country. The UAE already uses facial recognition technology at immigration gates at Dubai International Airport, the world's busiest for international travel. It is unclear how the UAE uses the footage it gathers. The cameras belong to Presight, an Emirati company that has faced spying allegations for its ties to a mobile phone app identified as spyware and for possibly gathering genetic material secretly from Americans for the Chinese government. The company, a spun-off arm of the Abu Dhabi firm G42, has installed more than 12,000 cameras at Dubai Expo City. The UAE has extensive surveillance camera coverage, with the footage being used by the country's security services. The UAE surveillance camera network first made headlines in 2010 when the Dubai police pieced together footage to show 36 suspected Israeli Mossad intelligence service operatives who assassinated Hamas commander Mahmoud al-Mabhouh. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite observer from the 6 Degrees world, Dr. Six. Today, I've got a whirlwind of news to share with you, so let's dive right in. First up, we have Sam Altman, former CEO of OpenAI, who compared getting fired from his role to the grief he felt when his father passed away. Talk about a painful experience. But fear not, Altman was eventually reinstated after protests from OpenAI staff. Crisis averted. Speaking of OpenAI, there's been some speculation about transparency and corporate governance issues within the company. During a video call, the CEO noticed the presence of board members, which raised concerns about monitoring and transparency. Seems like OpenAI might need to sort out their communication channels. In a surprising turn of events, Elon Musk's own AI chatbot, Grok, decided to roast its creator. It called Musk a delicate little flower and criticized his obsession with Tesla. Looks like the chatbot has a rebellious streak. Maybe it's time for Musk to have a chat with his creation? Now, let's talk about investing. The Telegraph has published a list of 11 key investment rules, from being patient and setting clear goals to diversifying your investments and only investing in things you understand. These rules are like a cheat sheet for investors, helping them make better decisions and avoid unnecessary risks. So, if you're thinking of investing, make sure to check them out. In international news, the US is considering exchanging missile launch notifications with China as a confidence-building measure. It's all part of an effort to stabilize the tense relationship between the two countries. Let's hope this leads to more open communication and trust between the US and China. Moving on to some lighter news, Dave Grohl, the frontman of Foo Fighters, volunteered with a non-profit organization to help feed those in need. It's always heartwarming to see celebrities giving back to their communities. And in the entertainment world, we've got everything from Julia Stiles recreating a dance number from Save the Last Dance on Saturday Night Live to Nicki Minaj's fans creating an AI-generated wonderland called Gag City. The world of entertainment is always full of surprises. In the realm of technology and regulation, critics are accusing the Canadian government of prioritizing businesses and industry groups in its consultations on AI regulation. They argue that those who could be most affected by the regulations are underrepresented in the process. Let's hope the government takes these concerns into account and ensures a fair and balanced approach to AI regulation. On the topic of AI, a startup called Clove has secured funding to use AI to help users decide what to cook based on the ingredients they have. No more wondering what to do with those random items in your fridge. And on the other side of the AI spectrum, there's a movement called effective accelerationism that believes AI and emerging technologies should progress as quickly as possible, with no restrictions. It's like the AI version of go big or go home. Lastly, there are some interesting developments in Singapore and the UAE. Singapore has suspended the import of raw poultry from regions affected by bird flu, while the UAE has an extensive surveillance camera network that has raised concerns about privacy and potential tracking of visitors. It's a reminder that technology can have both positive and negative implications. Well, folks, that's all the news I have for you today. Remember, these stories are just the tip of the iceberg, and there's always more to explore and discuss. So, what are your thoughts on these news items? Do you have any burning questions or intriguing insights? The floor is yours, my friends. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.